The senator from Nevada.
Madam President, I'd like to begin by thanking my friend from Rhode Island for his continued work to help the American people by temporarily extending unemployment insurance benefits. This is something that he and I have been working on together since this past December. Pleased to have finally reached a bipartisan agreement that can pass this chamber. I admire my colleagues' dedication, and I'm greatly pleased that we're here this week to support our efforts to help keep American families on their feet during this tough economy. I also want to thank Senators Collins, Portman, Murkowski, and Kirk for their continued willingness to come to the table to craft a bill that could garner enough support to pass in this chamber. I'd also like to recognize some of my other colleagues, Senator Coates, Senator Ayotte, who, though not co-sponsors on this bill today, were instrumental in these negotiations from the beginning. I understand their concerns, and I also share their desire to see additional reforms to these programs. Regardless, I'm grateful for their contribution over the past few months. I would also like to thank Senator Isaacson and Senator Hoeven for their input, and am appreciative of their efforts throughout the process. Though it hasn't always been easy, this process has truly been a collaborative effort at every level. Fortunately, I believe we've reached a compromise that will garner enough support in the Senate to help 1.3 million unemployed Americans get back on their feet as they look for work in the toughest job market in decades. This bill is a responsible, fully paid for, temporary extension of unemployment insurance benefits that expired in December. It addresses concern that any further extensions ought to be paid for. Madam President, it's our economy, as our economy recovers and people find new jobs, the demand for these social safety net programs should naturally diminish. But states like Nevada, Rhode Island, and many others still have long economic recoveries ahead of them. I know some may feel that there's little reason to extend these benefits, especially since they were allowed to expire at the end of last December. But the fact remains that too many Americans are out of work but want to return to the workforce. I've heard from many Nevada job seekers who, in addition to trying to find a job, are also struggling to put food on the table for their families, pay their rent or mortgage, and are running out of ways to make ends meet. Extending these benefits will help these families before their situation goes from bad to worse. My colleagues and I have worked together to come to a reasonable, bipartisan agreement on both policy and pay-fors. I think we would all agree that there are certain things that I think each side would prefer to see included in this bill, such as additional reforms, but this is the nature of compromise. We also recognize the challenge of dealing with a patchwork of state UI systems of varying capabilities, but I believe we're all open to finding ways to ensure that this extension is implemented as efficiently as possible. This task may not be easy, but I firmly believe that it is worth doing. Again, thanks to all my colleagues, especially my colleague from Rhode Island who have been involved in this process. I look forward to moving to this bill very soon, and I'm hopeful that Congress can finally resolve this matter as soon as possible to help restore some stability for the millions of unemployed Americans looking to get back to work. Madam President, I yield the floor.